Collaboration. An excerpt from A Guide for Aging Heroes by Randolph Harrison with Erica Schwarting Harrison. When you need to innovate, you need collaboration. Marissa Mayer. Collaboration and holism go hand in hand. Collaboration is an intelligent way to operate because the whole is always greater than the sum of its parts. I consider myself a pretty smart fellow with a lot of life experience, but I'm only one guy with one perspective and one life to draw from. I have found that 100% of the time, a room full of first-year college students can develop more novel solutions to a social problem than I can ever come up with on my own. I am fascinated by ideas and love it when others spark a new perspective on an issue. It is humbling at my age to continue to learn from people much younger than me. Holism. A room full of college students with their teacher is smarter than the teacher or any individual student. I heard that when one of the Beatles brought a new song to the rest of the band, the song was transformed into something completely different. Separately, the Beatles were all talented musicians, but together, they were the Beatles. Holism. The talent of the Beatles is greater than any one of the band's members. Around the turn of the century, there was a social scientist named Sir Francis Galton. Sir Francis discovered what has come to be called the wisdom of the crowd. As the story goes, Galton was at a county fair, and a game was played where villagers tried to guess the weight of an ox. Sir Francis collected the guesses from close to 800 people. What he found when he processed the data was incredible. None of the guessers, not even livestock breeders, came close to the ox's actual weight, 1,197 pounds. Get this. When Galton averaged all of the guesses together, the result was 1,196 pounds. Holism. The crowd was smarter than any person in that crowd. Erica and I compete in dragon boat races. The boats resemble long canoes with 10 bench seats and a carved dragon head on the prow. 20 paddlers sit two abreast with a drummer in the bow of the boat to beat time and a helmsman steering in the stern. The races are 250-meter, 500-meter, and 2,000-meter sprints. Getting 20 people to work together is more complicated than you might think. In the excitement of a race, inexperienced crew members will start stroking as fast as they can and lose track of what the rest of the team is doing. This is the kiss of death. When a dragon boat crew perfectly synchronizes their movements and pulls hard together, they can reach up to 15 kilometers per hour. That is faster than my sailboat in a heavy wind. A physically weak crew can win a race against a physically strong crew if the weak crew works together and the strong crew does not. Holism. A physically weak crew working together is faster than a physically strong crew working independently. Bosses who make changes without getting input from the people doing the work can create a lot of problems. Wise leaders respect the expertise of others and get as much feedback as possible from knowledgeable people before making big decisions. In your associations, remember to appreciate what others bring to the table. It is foolish and arrogant to do otherwise. People who have to have everything their way are emotionally immature. That kind of egocentrism should be reserved for toddlers. All relations require collaboration and compromise. This is true for employers, co-workers, romantic partners, families, and friends. You don't need 800 people for the wisdom of the crowd to work. Erica and I make for a small crowd, but holism proves true every time we collaborate on a project. We are both creative people, but creative in different ways. I am creative with words, and Erica is with images. She has given me an appreciation for visual aesthetics, something that I was never aware of before we connected. When watching movies, we both appreciate the total package presented in a film, but I mainly attend to the dialogue, the story, and the acting, while Erica is more interested in the sets, the costumes, the music, and the camera techniques. When we work together, we create something neither of us could have formed on our own. Holism. Collaborative cooperation might take a little practice, or it might take a lot. Some people are better at it than others. Erica and I are both very flexible, so working together usually goes smoothly. We use the metaphor of removing our personal hats and putting on our business hats whenever we are working on a professional project together. Ideas shared when we are in our business hats are strictly business and never personal. The more rigid individual collaborators are, the more frustrating the process can become. On the rare occasion when I know I'm right on one side and Erica knows she's right on the other side, we run into trouble. When that happens, we must look at ourselves and check our egos. We must reevaluate the merits of our own positions and make a concerted effort to approach the opposing position with fresh eyes. We had several stalemates in the creation of our book. Ultimately, our process worked, and one or the other of us yielded or compromised as we saw fit. Often, folks will double down on an inferior idea purely because it's their idea. Doubling down is generally a red flag for immaturity. Erica and I switch gears and take time to reflect rather than doubling down on an idea about which we disagree. This is a product of mutual respect for one another.